ahead. I'll turn the music off. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for coming to help celebrate the life of Michelle Peoples. At this time, our son Steve is going to step forward and start us, and then we'll open it up to anyone who would like to share any stories with the family. Steve?
Morning, everybody. I really appreciate everyone being here, especially under the circumstances with all the pandemic and all the craziness going on outside. I want to thank everyone that's tuning in online, and as well as anyone who tunes into this on their website after they upload it. I'm not going to say anything right now. I'll go ahead and I'll finish it off. But I just wanted to personally say thank you to everyone that showed up and everyone that's in online, and just give everyone an opportunity to say something about Michelle if they do so choose. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Clarence Jones. I believe I moved in 537 Crown Street about 2016. Come from out of Good Friends, which is a halfway house. You know, I'm originally from Philadelphia. Struggling with drug addiction, graduating from Good Friends. I found that house on Craigslist. Seeing the dog, how beautiful it was inside. So I reached out to Michelle Lynn. She called me back. By surprise, I was surprised. I didn't expect to call back. Who's going to hire a big black Muslim, you know, brother, allow them into their home? So she called me back. Sure, it's available. So I came, sat in the porch with her, Holly. She had a dog, and I was like, oh my God, I love animals. Holly just jumped right into my lap. Holly jumped into my lap, fell asleep. And she said, that's it. You're in. You're in. If my dog jumps, my dog doesn't just doesn't jump up into anyone's lap and went to sleep. You're in. So we talked for hours that day. We talked for hours. So about 2 weeks later, I moved in, and I've been there ever since. You know, she's gone, but she will never be missed. And as you get older, you still can learn from individuals. She learned me a lot of things. She would always say to me, Clarence, you have to enjoy the roses. What are you moving so fast for? Relax, calm down. You're a beast. It's amazing I still have dishes in the house because anything I touch, I have a nickname of my aunt will call me Glenny the Destroyer because I have this like unknown strength and anything I would touch it would break, you know. But she put that fear in me, that learned me to say, hey, take it easy, relax, you know. Very beautiful person. Very beautiful person. Stern, stubborn, but she meant well. And it's a saying in the country, no tea for the fever. She would speak whatever was on her mind, and then at the end, I do it because I love you. I do it because I care. And that's the kind of person you would want in your life that would speak honestly and let you know vividly what's on her mind, and then tell you, I do it because I care. You know, there wasn't a mean bone in her body, and some people may think so until they got to meet her. They got to meet her. You know, Oh my God, I love her, man. I really love her. I know I will love her to life. You know, she is not suffering anymore. And that's the greatest of ease. We all hurt in our heart, but she was suffering. She was in pain on a daily basis. And I can remember the day. I was going to procrastinate. As you can see here on the slide, I wasn't going to get the makings of the garden. I was going to procrastinate because I was tired. But something inside me said, go. And we planted the flowers, and then she left the next day. She was tired. Michelle Peoples, she will truly be missed, but will remain in our hearts. And, I'm so glad to have met, to be in you guys' life. Every one of you. I see you in my travelings, but this is something that's a part of life, is death. You know, she will truly be missed, but still loved. And those dogs, they're my babies as well. You know, Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Thank you for being in her life. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you. You guys should have seen me when I first came around. Talk about the size of him. Thanks, thanks to, thanks to Kara and Michelle. Oh, the cookies, the cooking. She could not do anything easy. She did everything from scratch. Like, come on, let's eat something today. Okay, I'll do it. She's up early in the morning. What are you doing? I'm not doing it. It's not coming from out of the box. She was always in that rush of Christmas time, baking cookies for everybody.
Folks, just so you know, hate to interrupt, but we are videotaping this. So if you want to be heard coming up to the lectern would be the best way because the microphone will be recording it.
This is your time, folks. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
I'm always shy. I didn't really know her for a long time. But for the short period of time that I did know her, I found a good person in life. And I would say if you start surrounding yourself with good people, just as much as her, like that, then you wind up becoming a good person too. And I know there's anything she could do to help anybody, she would have done it. Like, in a heartbeat. I met her at the diner, and she's just an honest, caring, loving person. And I'm just going to miss her a lot. Wish I had more to say about it, but I wasn't prepared or anything. But I love you, Michelle. and you take it easy where you're at right now. And we'll all see you soon someday. Thank you.
I also didn't know Michelle for a very long time. I moved into Crown Street a couple doors down about 3 years ago, and I'm so lucky and blessed and fortunate to have the neighbors that I have. And one of the neighbors that I became closest to was Michelle. And we did some baking together, as was mentioned. And since the recording didn't get the exchange that went on back there, Nicole also did baking with her all night a few years ago. And Michelle would get people involved with the things she was passionate about. For example, baking. And I was lucky enough to have a couple experiences baking for like hours with her, and we had music playing. We would take turns choosing a song and talk and bake. And she was in charge because she knew what she was doing. I can make 2 kinds of cookies, and she can make 100. But I really wanted to get to know her better when we moved in because I could tell what an amazing soul she was right away. One thing that we really bonded over is that we were born at the same hospital. In Hawaii, we were both born at Tripler, the big pink Army hospital. And when we realized this, it was like, I think it was on New Year's Eve when we realized that we had that connection. And we were both really excited about that because that's very unusual. You know, I'd never met anybody else who was born at the same hospital I was born at, and it's crazy. And then I have another interesting little story. When we were walking down the street delivering cookies a few months ago, I think it was in February, we met another neighbor who we just engaged with and started talking with, and this neighbor's kids actually worked at the same hospital that Michelle and I were born at. Just came up in conversation. I don't know. I'm a little nervous, but she was wonderful with a heart of gold and a very like a 1 in a million kind of person. And I'm so grateful that she was in my life, even if it was too brief. forgot to say something. You know how it is, as soon as you sit down, you remember something that you meant to say. Um, but when it came to the baking, it was all her, and she wanted to give cookies to the neighbors. That was something that she was really focused on and that she really wanted to do, and she had a way of bringing people together. That was something that I really wanted to mention and I forgot to say, is that she gave cookies and baked goods to neighbors and friends. And just, like, how many dozen did you bake with her, Nicole? How many dozen? Like thousands of cookies, right? 3 or 4 dozen of each kind and 12 different kinds. Okay, that was your year. It was not. That's amazing. And then to package them up and give them away to everybody as gifts of love, that's what she wanted to do. And I just wanted to put that out there too. I forgot to mention.
There's someone that wanted to be here, can't be here. Her name is Lauren, and she just asked me to tell you, Michelle, that she misses you and she loves you. And that's basically, we all love you. And we're all at a loss of words at this time. Lauren loves you, Michelle. Peace. Peace.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I met Michelle ago probably about 2 years ago. I think actually from you, Nicole, just from the cafe. And I actually have a store right in the plaza right around the corner from the cafe. And Michelle would just stop by periodically and just drop by and, say hi. And she would always bring treats into my shop. And when she got diagnosed, when she was going through treatment, I always said to her, I'm like, if you ever want to stop by and just hang out, if you just need a change of scenery, please come by. And there was a few times that she would come by, and just sit and hang out with us and bring Holly by. And she would always, again, with her baking, I know she loved to bake, but she would always spoil us, with treats and always bring them in for the girls and everyone. But I got to see her, last time I saw her was around Valentine's, and she came by with Holly. And I have a Cocker Spaniel, and he's usually at my shop a couple times a week. And she actually came by and made personal treats for him, and he was just so happy. And but yeah, I used to love watching her walk by, and she would always stop by with Holly, especially after Holly would get a haircut or whatever crazy funky color. And but she truly was an incredible person, and she had such a big heart. And like I said, I only got to know her for a couple years, but every time I would see her, she'd walk by and wink at me and go, "Hey, kiddo." And she, she's just an amazing person, and I'm so fortunate and so lucky that I got to meet her. And it's just, yeah. But like I said, she impacted a lot of people. She definitely impacted my life, and I'm just so blessed that I got to meet her and got to know her. I wanted to say that. Thank you.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Jerry. I live with Clarence and with Michelle. Uh, if you know anything about me, I'm a bar rat. I love to spend time at bars and play pool. That's my thing. So I met her playing pool at the Robert Morris Inn, playing by myself, and she comes up to me out of nowhere. She goes, "You playing by yourself?" And I was like, "What do you think?" Like, nobody else is here playing with me. And she's like, "Well, I'll play you." I said, "Okay." And she kicked my ass. She kicked my ass that first game, and I said, "We have to play again." And I beat her pretty bad the next game. Uh, but I'm a captain of a pool league team for the Mill Creek Inn, if anybody knows where that is. And the first person I thought of when I needed another player was Michelle. And so she was super hesitant at first. Not, she was a little shy. But I convinced her over time that it was worth it for her to get out at least once a week, Tuesday nights. And man, she loved it. You could just tell, look on her face. She'd beat people. She'd do a little dance, come over, and she'd be like, "Jerry, I did it." I'm like, "I know, you're kicking ass." And it was just, she had a very soft spot in her heart for me, and I am super thankful for that. And I just loved getting to know your mom. She was a really, really amazing lady. And everybody on my league team will tell you that she was the heart and soul of our team, and that she was the best thing to have around. So, you were a great, great mom.
Yeah, so I'm not one for talking in front of people. I'm not gonna do good. I'm gonna cry my eyes out because she was one of my best friends. Oh God, she was amazing. This girl could be in so much pain and still make sure she was there for you. Just the other day we were sending each other pictures and I was showing her pictures my kids painted. And she was saying how much she loved them and how much she can't wait to be with my kids again and me and paint and cook with my son. All my family had a great relationship with her. And I remember telling someone that she had passed, and they're like, "You remember you took my kids over there?" Like she was that house that everyone went to. We all went to go hang out with her, talk with her. She's the one who, showed me how to make different things from glass candy to baking a bunch of different things for people. In the middle of being sick, she made sure everyone else was taken care of. God, this is so hard. I don't want to let go. I don't want to say goodbye to her. But I promised her one thing, that when she was gone, that I would always let her live on with me. And she always said, if I do die, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be your pain in the ass. And I've had so many different encounters since she's been gone, knowing that she's with me and that she's here, and she's such a great person. Man, love her. Always love her. And I know all of us can say the same. You know, she was a bad bitch, but she was our bitch, and she was great. She was good at everything she did. And the love that she had, the love that she gave. It's amazing. She had a heart of gold. Sorry. That's all I have to say, but I know that it's not over. It was funny because I was saying to my husband the one day, I was like, Michelle was good peoples. And then I looked over, I was like, that's her name. Michelle Peoples, and that's who she is. She's good peoples. She'll always be good peoples. So, with that being said, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I want you to know how much your mom truly, truly adored you both and that baby. Just keep living for her, because she needs it. And she fought a tough-ass battle, and she's the toughest woman I've ever met. The fight that she fought, even the last time they told her she had cancer, they said, you want to give up? And she said, I'm going to die trying. And she did. She fought one of the toughest battles I've ever seen. With that being said, I love you guys all, and I hope we all can let her live through us. She's no longer in pain. And she fought a lot of pain. Oh, God. Sorry.
Would anyone else like to go up and say something before I head up there? Shit. First off, I just want to introduce myself again. My name is Stephen Sheldon, and I am Michelle's firstborn son. Michelle had me 2 months after she turned 18, and a little bit after that, I was adopted. And throughout my life, I always felt different compared to the other relatives that I had. I was always very outspoken, said exactly what was on my mind. I was a little bit of a firecracker. I was just a little more quiet about it. And I was always just different, and I always wondered why I was the way that I was. It wasn't until I was about 24, 25 that I decided to reach out to Michelle and start to build a relationship with her. I didn't give a shit what anyone thought. I didn't care about anything in the past. What was important to me was finding out who this woman was. And it was the best decision that I have ever made in my life. The first time we talked, everything just felt right. Everything just kind of felt like home. And I experienced the love for the first time in my life that I had never experienced before. We clicked, we would we would go at each other, but the thing that you always knew was that we spoke what was on our mind, we said what was on the truth, and there was no questioning that. As I got to know Michelle, I became more complete as a person. Relatives are one thing, but family is another. And she was a family member to almost everyone that she met. And she'd be the first person to tell you, not everyone's going to like her, but she doesn't give a shit. She's going to be her, and she's going to be happy with who she was. And, that woman was a fighter. The more I learned, and she fought her whole life. Fighting was just what she did, and she was damn good at it. And it's something that I have in myself, and I think it's something that kind of rubbed off on a lot of us. I hear you guys talking about Christmas cookies a lot and stuff that she liked to bake, and I'm going to give you a little insight on that. Michelle hated Christmas. She absolutely hated it. She hated it because growing up, Christmas wasn't necessarily a good time for her. And The reasoning behind her cookies was she didn't want any person to feel what she felt as a kid. So baking those cookies was a way for her to ensure that someone always got something for Christmas, because that's what mattered most was given to other people, and making sure that nobody experienced the hard-fought pain that she had to go through. Shortly after I met Michelle, I got married to the wrong woman, and that marriage only lasted not even a year, and it was me that made the mistake. So when I told Michelle what had happened, and she said, "Well, son, you fucked up," and there's no denying that. But she said, "What determines who we are is what we do after we fuck up. What decisions do we make? What kind of lessons do we learn?" She said that every single day there is a lesson to be learned. And from every mistake that we make, there's an opportunity to be a better person. And it was the first real lesson that I ever truly took to heart that my mother gave me. I use that same mentality to this day. She just, she was always looking for an opportunity to teach me something and to make up for lost time. And, you know, I'm non-religious, just like my mom. And there were things about me that I wasn't okay with, growing up, and things that it took me a long time. And what she always taught me is that the person, not everyone's gonna like you, and that's okay. Not everyone's gonna like the decisions that you make, and that's okay. But as long as you do right by yourself, it doesn't matter what life hands you, you're gonna be okay. Because at the end of the day, if you're happy with yourself and you live the life that you want to live, for lack of better words, fuck everybody else. And that's how she lived her life. She did what was best for her. She did, I like to say being selfish isn't always necessarily a bad thing, but Michelle did everything that she wanted to do. And the type of person that she was the type of things that she wanted to do was to do for others. And, she was arguably the best choice, no, fuck it, unarguably the best choice that I've ever made was searching out that woman. I grew more in the time that I knew her in the 8 or 9 years than I did my first 25 years of life. The things that she did, I'm going to carry on through my son, especially them Christmas cookies. So I need to know how you guys actually went on ahead and lasted a whole night baking 1,000 cookies, because it's going to be tough, but we're going to try to do it. And she loved my son. Seeing my son for the first time isn't with her, it was an experience that I'll never forget. And just seeing the pure joy and love that, not just that she had for me, but for that little man. And I'm going to do my best to make sure that he knows just what kind of person that she was. So not only that she doesn't live through me, she lives through my son Caden. And she just, as Clarence and I like to say, she was stubborn as hell, but she was a beautiful soul. You could go toe to toe with her, and at the end of the day, you'll get a hug. Because yeah, she was gonna say what was on her mind, but she still respected you for having a different view and opinion. And I think in today's day and age, that's something very special, because you can't have. It's very difficult to have conversations with people that have difference of opinions than you do without being insulted or anything like that. And Michelle was always one of those people that she didn't care what background you had. She didn't care where you came from. She didn't care if you were a druggie or an alcoholic. She didn't care what you went through. She was going to be there for you because she respected everyone as an individual. And the world would be a much better place if we had a lot more Michelles in this world. So I'm just going to leave it at, rest peacefully, Mom. Sleep well. And each and every one of us love you. I told myself I wouldn't cry up here because you'd probably, in some way, shape, or form, find a way to kick my ass for doing it. But just know that you were loved by everybody. Thank you.
like to take this opportunity on behalf of Steve to thank all of you for sharing in Michelle's life celebration this morning. This concludes the services, and at this time, if you'd like, feel free to step forward, pay your respects to Steve, and then you may take your leave. Have a good day.